In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my dieting tips and secrets that helped me lose 70+ pounds after 4 years of binge eating. So stick around. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel where we break down the psychology of weight loss and how to make it happen for yourself. So by the end of this video, you're gonna have the tips and tools you need in order to lose weight effectively and get #jacked. Before I get into my tips and tricks, I want to start out by saying that I have spent 4 years of my life being victim to binge eating disorder, chronic dieting, and all-around emotional eating. And this video is going to help you develop a new relationship with food so binge eating isn't a necessity anymore. After we're done with this video, you're going to have the tips and tools that you need to be able to succeed in any diet that you choose to undertake. Tip number 1 is learn the basics. You don't need to learn all of these crazy things about dieting. We all have a calorie maintenance level, okay? So if this is the bar for calorie maintenance, this is what you need to sustain where you're at if your activity level stays the same and you're eating this amount of calories. If you go above that, you're going to gain weight, and if you go below it, you're going to lose weight. It literally comes down to that. And you can figure that out on a bunch of online calculators. If you type in calorie calculator on Google, tons of them will come up. Tip number 2 is you must eat the foods that you enjoy. This doesn't mean go out and have Chipotle and chocolate cake every night, but this means that you've got to incorporate foods into your diet that you like, that you enjoy eating. If you don't like eating salads, don't eat a fucking salad. It literally comes down to that. I lost over 70 pounds eating what I liked. I found what I liked and I made sure that I was in a calorie deficit. I tracked my progress over time and eventually I got there. So it turns into a lifestyle change that ultimately gets you to your goal. So don't think when you change your habits and you're not focused on just eating what all the bodybuilders are eating that you're not going to get there. You're going to get there. You're just going to be doing it your way. So incorporate the foods that you like. For example, I love sandwiches and I love chips. Those are 2 things that I'm gonna have every single day because I can't live without them. So what is that food for you? Comment down below what that food is for you. What do you need in your diet? What do you love to eat on a daily basis and you can't live without? Because you shouldn't live without it. You should have that every day, be it a healthy recipe for it or be it, in moderation. You should have that every single day. Tip number 3 is the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is simply that 80% of the time you eat what you are consistently eating to lose weight and be in that calorie deficit, and make sure that you're enjoying yourself along the way, of course, and eat what you like, but make sure that you're eating a wholesome, nutritious diet that is going to be in a calorie deficit to help you lose weight. And then 20% of the time, if your friends want to go have some beer, if your friends want to order a pizza, you can do that. You've got to live a little bit because that's how it's not going to be considered a diet. See what I'm doing here? It's not a diet if you make time for fun, okay? It's not a cheat day, but it's random times throughout the week that you are going to have temptation. So what you have to do is 80% of the time, like I said, be on your game. Be eating the foods that are in your consistent diet, and then 20% of the time, so let's say 1.5 days a week, 1 day a week, something like that, you're going to enjoy yourself and have some fun. So that doesn't mean that after you have fun, you go out on a binge fest. That just means that you had fun with your friends and you get back on it the next day and you don't feel bad about it. That's the difference between this 80-20 rule and binge eating. You don't feel bad about it. You planned for it. You planned for exactly what you wanted to have. So now, 80% of the time, you're gonna be eating what you're supposed to be eating, what you like to eat, and 20% of the time is going to be let your hair down. Go out to the bar with your friends, have some fun, order a pizza. Tip number 4 is going to be learn through trial and error. There are a lot of different diets out there, and I've found certain ones that work better for me. I've found certain eating windows that work better for me, such as intermittent fasting, a lot of other things. I'm not gonna say that one thing is going to work for you, of course not. We're all different, and I'm not gonna preach to you what works to me because it works for me. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna work for you. Try some different things. See what you like to do. See if you like taking a lot more carbs out of your diet. See if you like only eating from noon to 8. Try these things because this is how you're going to learn what's sustainable for yourself, because without sustainability, you're wasting your time. You're going to end up putting a lot of it back on. You're not gonna develop any new habits. It's only gonna be short term, which is not what we're going for here. When it comes to diet, you want to make sure that it is sustainable and that you're not hating your life, because that is when people end up binging. There's a reason why competitors, bodybuilding and men's physique and bikini competitors always binge after a show because they've been restricting themselves, and then what's the one thing that they want? Is the foods that they haven't been able to have. If I tell you to not think about a pink elephant wearing a party hat, you are probably going to be thinking about a pink elephant wearing a party hat. So this is going to prevent you from binging because you're going to be able to plan for everything. You're going to be able to develop what works for you, so it's not that it doesn't feel like a diet. And it goes right back to the 80-20 rule. So all in all, try some different things, learn about yourself, and you're gonna be different from everyone that you see online. Which brings me to my next tip. Tip number 5, do not believe the fluff on YouTube, okay? There is some useful information on YouTube, but there's a lot of BS. People are saying that this is the only way it works, that this is the only way you can do it. Don't believe the fluff. Intermittent fasting is not the only way to lose fat. Fasted cardio is not the only way to lose fat. But as long as you're in that calorie deficit and you're making sure that your exercise is on point for whatever schedule works for you, however many days a week, whatever you want to do, just being consistent with that is going to get you to your goal, I promise. But being consistent with it is the key word, because without consistency, this is just an idea. It's not actually a change. In order to get something that you've never had, you've got to do some things that you've never done, especially consistently. So don't believe the fluff. There's going to be a lot of people trying to sell you stuff online. There's going to be a lot of people telling you what worked for them, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. So be cognizant of all that and be sure to know what works for you, because that's all that really matters in the end. Tip number 6 is going right off of tip number 5, which is screw being optimal. I can tell you right now, I'm just gonna get it out of the way. What's worked best for me as far as the quickest and most effective fat loss is going keto while intermittent fasting. That is what has worked the quickest for me, okay? That does not mean that everybody should do that. I'm not trying to preach that. That's really hard. I think that people who do that consistently, props to you, because that is absolutely so difficult. So, screw being optimal. I can tell you 50 pounds of the 70+ pounds that I lost were mainly eating the things that I wanted to eat, because that is what was sustainable. And I can tell you that I binged way more when I was doing intermittent fasting with keto. I wasn't able to stick to it for very long. So I've learned that about myself, and I've learned to incorporate different things, because you don't need to do one specific thing for losing weight. It's totally up to your discretion. And bottom line, screw being optimal. Do what's going to be consistent for you, even if it's not the best way to do it. How you're going to get there is going to depend on how consistent you are. So, to review, tip number 1, know the basics of dieting and losing weight. Know what it comes down to. Number 2, eat the foods that you enjoy. Number 3, remember that 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, be on your game, and then 20% of the time, let your hair down, have some fun. Number 4, learn what works for you. Number 5, don't believe the fluff. And number 6, screw being optimal. And go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down there if you want to stay tuned to weekly tips and tricks on how to lose weight and improve yourself mentally and physically. So let's keep getting better together and keep on grinding. I'll see you in the next one.